For being late. Hi, everyone. Apologies for being late. And we live very rural right now, and there's a lot going on all the streets around where we live. Pardon me. And then we got involved with doing something in the garage. So again, apologies. Sweet surrender. I was deep in thought this afternoon about the subject of surrendering. I have a 100-day support program called Surrender to the God Self. And the cost on that is very inexpensive. It's $125. So get with me via Facebook Messenger to get more details on that and for the payment. Anyway, I have been working with surrendering for several years now, and it's a different ball game. Yes, we make our virtual reality with our imagination. It goes forth. Um, we have two voices we listen to, though, when we are deciding on what we're going to imagine. We listen either to the ego, and that is the voice of limit and separation, isolation, sin, guilt, fear, lack, pain, abandonment, all of those baddies. And it runs the show for many. And it uses everything that you bring into your realm as a cover to do so, such as meeting a relationship and everything's going to be hunky dory for a while, and then all of a sudden the shit hits the fan. And the ego has decided to take over. And all you'll see is a whole bunch of problems. Well, um, problems or stepping stones to growth. I would prefer number one, if you think it's a problem, say it's a problem. Number two, admit that you brought this into your consciousness. You brought it forth for you to learn something from it, and it's a healing that needs to be done. And then ask yourself, what is it that you need to let go of in order to have the relationship be even better? And that process is called surrendering. Surrendering to the other voice, surrendering to the voice of the God source that is within you also, and it is gentle and loving and kind and direct when you want it to be, and you are its voice box. Okay, you are its ambassador in the world, and so you can fulfill that. You want to know what your purpose is. Your purpose is to be an ambassador to the higher self. Okay, however that comes into being, either through cleaning a toilet, dog walking, picking up dog poop, maybe with love in your heart, helping people out somehow. And I have three careers, and each career, the focus is on service. And I am paid a very decent income. And it's an exchange of one thing for the other. And I surrendered to all the aspects of myself. I am not just someone who does one thing, like being a coach. I am really interested in doing a whole bunch of things, and so I bring that. I'm like a big woven blanket, you know, and I've got all these people in my life, and they add value to it. I surrender to the value that they give to me. I surrender to our interaction and see what the potential is, and bring it forth. Okay. And hopefully they do the same. In fact, I know they do. So surrendering is, from the ego standpoint, a giving up. It is a giving up. It is a relinquishment of control, which it is. and that's bad. No, it's not. When you think that you need to control things, then you're really out of control. So no, 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 no. You're not the one who, well, yes, you are. You are the maker of your virtual 3D reality. You are. Okay. 10 points. So, what really does that give you? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You live in a dream reality, and you want to wake up from that and go into the real reality, which is not of you. And it's a created reality by the God source. And you can get smatterings of that when you surrender. And so you're wanting to bring heaven, created by God, source, into the dream state. And you want to shine rays all over the place. You don't want to keep it to yourself. You want to let it go forth so that it grows within you. And so I will wake up and I will feel absolutely wonderful, passionate for life. So, what I will do is I will bring that forth in my writing each morning, and also my coaching with my clients. And I just can't contain it. When you get a piece of the light of God's source, you cannot keep it. Now, you can keep a hold of everything the ego gives to you because it's bull. It's a chunk of coal. It's cold and hard, and it's mine, mine, mine. Well, it's worthless. So what I'm saying here is that surrender is part of the process of LOA, law of assumption. And you are wanting to assume a state that is higher than sin, guilt, fear, pain, anguish, lack, abandonment, all of that stuff from the ego. And it takes a surrender. It takes you saying, okay, all of that gunk that I believed in is incorrect. And so, what I want to do is, I want to go to all of those wonderful, loftier thoughts, and I want to make them part of me. I want to surrender my lower self to become a higher representation of me. And so, I want to embody love, abundance, health, healing, cooperation, um, expressing joy, um, laughter. I want all of those qualities. And so I need to surrender. I need to surrender my troubles and trials and tribulations that are truly silly, and they all come from the ego. They all end up being where you want to be so special with your problems. I want to be so special with my problems. And it's silly. It really is silly, okay? I want to surrender my specialness to unite with everyone as a group. I want a community. I want to grow food. Janet and I are starting to grow food. You should see my beans. Oh my gosh, they're this tall. I'm so excited. Anyway, I can talk all day about food and gardening and preservation and everything. But I want to share that, and I do, because it's a little jar or a little bag of joy. Here, this was grown and it has life in it, life force. And I want you to ingest it so it can become part of you. And it's just so wonderful. Okay. I'm just part I am launching a new part of my life. Just like when I did canning, I surrendered to the canning process, and I surrendered to, getting myself involved first in dehydrating, water bath canning, pressure canning, vacuum packing, and that was this past year. And now it's growing food, and it's a joy. So think of ways that you've been resisting in your life, things that you want to do but you're resisting. It's like maybe, getting an education in some kind of a foreign language, and you really want to do that, but for some reason you don't. Well, the heck with it. Okay, toss everything aside except you going and doing that and surrendering to it, and becoming more than what you are right now. Speaking French, perhaps. And I've never really wanted to speak a foreign language. I mean, sure, um, a smattering of Spanish. I was from Southern California, and now I live in Idaho, and certainly we have Spanish speaking people here, but it's not something I want to get into. So list out the things that you want to do to make yourself more valuable as an asset towards the people that you have in your life, and then expand that out. Maybe your boss is dangling something in front of you about a big raise or a promotion if you would like to go and learn a new aspect of a better job. Well, go for it. Go for it. Stop the resisting. We dig our heels in so much in our lives, and it causes us to feel worn out. And there's so much in life that is joyful. Certainly, there are some aspects of it that are not joyful. Um, but why dwell there? Okay. What can you do to make life better for you and your loved ones and even strangers on the street? I was going out of Deseret Industries yesterday. A friend of mine told me of some canning jars that they had for what I pay for, and they're used. I'm washing today, and it takes a lot of canning jars to have a year's full of food on the shelves. So, yeah, let's get some jars at a decent price. And so I was going out to my car, and this man with two little ones said, "Ma'am, can I help you load those into the car?" And he had his hands full. And so I thanked him and just let it go. But it was so nice for him to to offer that to me. It really was, and that was him surrendering um, his time to help somebody. And it was just nice. And then we got into a conversation about my car. I drive an SUV, and he was considering getting the same type of SUV. And so I praised it, for him, and we had a nice exchange. So don't look at life so much from the ego perspective of a battleground. Rise above the battleground by surrendering to higher thought, higher action, higher involvement. Do dishes for a friend, maybe some free babysitting, something that you can surrender. It to me is participation. It's full participation. It's also okay, and that's in life, in the 3D reality that I have. And so that's one way of surrendering. Another way of surrendering is to ask inside what it is you should do or how this problem should be resolved, or maybe letting the problem go so that it can be resolved on its own, because probably you're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's surrendering. Now, again, going back to the judgments we've had on surrendering, I know religions that the woman surrenders her life to her husband. In their religion, their custom, that's what keeps that going. For me, it doesn't work, and I don't believe in it. Therefore, I don't get involved in a religion that has that kind of doctrine. I'm surrounded by that kind of religion, and I stand out like a sore thumb even before I had purple hair and purple nails. So, um, No, a surrendering is not giving yourself up to be controlled. God's source does not control. God's source sees your life, your 3D life, from a higher perspective and looks from the vision of love and sees you as you really are. And so God's source can get a different perspective when you are involved in getting up at a certain hour, getting dressed after taking a shower and brushing your teeth, and then you fix breakfast and you get the kids dressed and you take them to school. So you're really busy, okay? God's source is just simply viewing your life and guiding you so that you might turn down another street and avoid a car crash. And so that's the kind of surrender that I really love. Um, I do my best to stay connected to that higher voice. And I do it probably about 60% of the time, to tell you the truth. Some days higher, and I'm much happier. Some days less. And so, my a lot of times I get this question, how do I surrender? Good question. I'm going to give you the answer. It's two words, let go. Well, then, how do I let go? By not caring if you are approved of, by not caring of the consequences, by having faith, by trusting. And there are no guarantees, but there is. Everything always works out for you in miraculous ways. And that's part of the God mantra. And so I repeat that during my day when things look a little weird and I am not sure what to do. And so I repeat that. And then I repeat, isn't it wonderful? And it doesn't mean things are going to turn out hunky dory immediately. It means that no matter what it looks like in my realm, it is going to turn out wonderful. And so I want you to take those two little tidbits and operate with them. Isn't it wonderful? Just keep on repeating, isn't it wonderful? And then the line from the God mantra is that everything always works out for me and my loved ones in miraculous ways. And then I usually complete that with thanking God Source. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, it's getting off a little bit from the subject, but speaking of gratitude, using gratitude to get is gratitude to the ego. I don't believe in that kind of gratitude. Gratitude is a magic wand so that you can get what you want. Nope, I don't. Just simply being grateful. Just being grateful. For what? Just being grateful. It's like happiness. True happiness, you're just simply happy. You're not happy for anything specific because that can change. And so then you're not happy. Oh, I won the lotto. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, I bounced a check. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's like it should be across the board, guys. Gratitude should be the blanket that you put over yourself, your loved ones, and life in general. And it's just simply gratitude. gratitude for the ups, gratitude for the downs, gratitude for the mediocrity that you are seeing because you need to put some passion in your life. And I think that's why I like purple so much because it's a passionate color. Um, so surrendering is you willingly saying, I am relinquishing my control in faith and trust, knowing that God has me and angels surround me and that I'm totally protected. So you're more willing to do challenging things like get into gardening and not knowing a darn thing about anything. I don't. I plant a seed and I pray over it, you know? Um I don't know, but I am surrendered to the process and I'm going to have fun. And I'm not going to beat myself up over every mistake that's made, every dead leaf, every plant that doesn't produce food. I'm going to say it's just part of it. It really is. And so that's the attitude that you have when you surrender. Anything can happen, and it's going to be good. Okay. And you're not going to dig your heels in and you're not going to resist, and which leads to resentment, which leads to revenge. The three R's of the ego: resistance, resentment, and revenge. You wipe all of that out, all of it. You don't have to analyze it and find out where it started, all of it. Just simply laughing at the ego and surrendering, saying, so what? And that's a good tool to use too. So what? Think of something that you want to do in your life or a state, pardon me, a state you want to inhabit, such as parent or wife or husband or employed person in something that's fun to do. Um, or you want to do a marathon. Think of anything. Then think of the worst thing that could happen because you know, that's almost the bottom line of why you are not doing it. And I want you to really get involved in that and then simply mean it by saying, so what? I am willing to come on and do live at 5 if no one shows up. Okay. And if I flop and flutter and cough and do all sorts of bodily functions, and it's all fine because I am here to assist you. And that's more important to me than staying off camera and having something I want to share and not sharing it. So, and so you do that. You think of the things that you've resisted. And instead of going into resentment and revenge, what I want you to do is take a risk and go into that and surrender to the process, surrender to training for marathon. I did a half marathon several years ago. It's one of the roughest, and I walked, and I was one of the last ones in, but you know what? I made it. Dang it, I made it with a couple of other people. And the worst did happen, by the way, on that. I came in last, and the people that I was with, there were some problems. And so what? So what? Did I do the half marathon? I did. I did. And I got the t-shirt to prove it. And I felt so wonderful. And I trained for it. And I trained in snow. I trained in rain. I trained in ice because it was the beginning of spring. And it was high elevation. And you got into all kinds of terrain. And so I was ready. It's called the Race to Roby Creek. And it's the hardest half marathon in the Pacific Northwest. Look it up. And I did it. I did it. It was wonderful. It was it was grueling and it was wonderful. And yes, the worst thing did happen, and I survived. So, yes, you're taking a risk, but that's part of the process of surrendering. You put yourself on the back burner for the greater good. Hi, Christiana. I am so happy you came on today. And you surrender. Just surrender. I wanted a family and I surrendered to it. Not you don't do a lot of research on anything. And you just go for it. And you may flop. So what? People may throw tomatoes at you. So what? You may be told you're full of shit. So what? Okay? Just keep that expression. So what? I add the word fucking. So fucking what? Okay? That's just who I am. I'm very spicy. Um, take the tidbits I gave you, run with them. My course, my 100-day support program, is very meaty. Surrender to the God self. Contact me to sign up for that. Again, it's $125 paid in full or $50 down, $25 a week for 3 weeks in a row. And it's a journey. It's a journey into all of the ins and outs of how we avoid surrendering to the higher power within us. Not within our bodies, by the way, within our minds. The mind is not in the brain. Don't point to the brain when you're talking about the mind. It's not there. It's outside of time and space. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody who joined me and thank everyone. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I do these weekly and maybe twice a week. I'm having a Zoom this coming week and signups are starting right now, and I will announce that on Manifesting Mastery, and it's called The Art of Letting Go, I think. Yes, The Art of Letting Go. So stay tuned on that and take care. Thank you very much for dropping by. And again, I was late, but was I? Or was I really on time? I prefer thinking I was on time. So thank you guys. Thank you, Christiana. Bye now.